Does it seem odd to you that there's so many far-left political protests in Ohio lately, especially when Democrats are polling at a historically low approval rating of 21%?
These are truly horrific numbers.
Who are these people? And why do they keep turning out to support such radical causes? We found some answers, and it won't surprise you that money is a big reason. This is the April calendar for a far-left group called Indivisible Central Ohio. Notice they generally have 4 protests around the state every Saturday and plenty more on other days. Naturally, that includes a weekly protest at Tesla dealerships.
If you've ever worked with Indivisible, we love a good rally, but we like a plan too.
Who's organizing all these protests? And where does the money come from?
Open Society is the foundation associated with George Soros. So again, when you take a look at what Indivisible is protesting, and then take a look at who is funding them, you realize that it's George Soros, a left-wing billionaire, is giving all this money to Indivisible to lead these protests around town.
Indivisible Central Ohio is the state chapter of the national group, the Indivisible Project. Far-left billionaire Soros bankrolls the Indivisible Project with more than $7 million and counting. Indivisible then funds local groups around the country. And they are not exactly grassroots mainstream Americans. Indivisible's founders were inspired by Chairman Mao.
This is a let a thousand flowers bloom kind of moment where
she got both the name and the history wrong. It was called the 100 Flowers Campaign. Mao used it to round up hundreds of thousands of critics for execution or re-education. That is Indivisible's role model, a savage tyrant responsible for more than 70 million deaths. An investigative journalist discovered how Indivisible and the Democratic Party make their nationwide protests seem community organized. Former Wall Street Journal reporter Azra Nomani says, these groups use digital platforms, pre-scripted chants, pre-printed signs, and nationwide toolkits to manufacture the appearance of grassroots activism. Nomani says the nationwide protests are actually a staged partisan campaign led by Democratic Party political operatives, multi-million-dollar nonprofits, and professional protest companies. Indivisible Central Ohio claims it held protests in 57 towns on April 5th, attended by 47,000 people. That sounds extremely well organized.
That is what we are seeing here, and the group called Indivisible is the main group spearheading these protests across the country. They're anything but small donor funded. They're anything but organic and anything but this grassroots movement. In fact, they are funded by left-wing billionaires as well as foreign billionaires. And that is what is happening around the country.
The leftists' main causes right now include supporting members of the bloodthirsty MS-13 and Tren de Aragua gangs, the accused murderer of a health insurance CEO, and firebombers attacking Tesla dealerships. How did the left suddenly become more radicalized than ever? Well, Trump took away all their issues. Progressive leftists hate Trump so much, their reflex is to automatically oppose him on every issue. But he keeps taking the side of common sense. That puts the Democrats on the unpopular side of the issues, and that's their dilemma. How do they oppose Trump when he wants to deport violent criminals, secure the border, make gas and groceries affordable, make big cities safe again and lock up criminals, reverse the trade imbalance with China, end government waste, fraud, and corruption, protect women and keep men out of their sports, and remove woke DEI nonsense and anti-Semitism from campuses? The radical left has lost the national debate. When they can't use their words, their historic temptation to violence grows even greater. In part 2 of this story, we look at what led to the violent rhetoric coming to Ohio. For On the Record, this is Garth Kahn.